big deals are emerging in the liquidity flush tech and digital space, boosted by two primary reasons. Consolidation due to fast evolving online space, which many legacy companies, remember, cannot quickly adopt to, where the pandemic has also played a big role in this shift. And also remember that the second being the hunger of the unicorns to become decacorns of future by beefing up the businesses, especially ahead of their IPO prep work, as the investors have been very generous in ascribing them high valuations. So the outcome is that we are now transitioning into an evolved business model of omni-channel approach, and the lines between the offline as well as the online businesses are blurring fast. To discuss this big transformational shift, I have with me the top management of three companies from the startup world. Let me welcome on CNBC TV18 Sahil Barua of Delhivery, Amrish Murthy of Pepperfry, and Sarbvir Singh of Policy Bazaar. Gentlemen, so good to have you on Big Deal. Now, first coming to you, Sarbvir, of course, it's also the IPO frenzy in the startup and the tech digital space, and you probably are the first one who are going to kickstart this process amongst the panelists. So help us understand, how is this omni-channel approach and the combination between online and offline really is very, very essential as the companies become bigger and have the aspiration of capital market funds?
Sure, Nishad, good to be on the show. I think I'd like to make 2 points. One is the fact that digital, which was a relatively novel thing, let's say 10 years ago, right, is no longer novel. So 500-600 million Indians are digital. They have smartphones. They are fully aware of what they're doing. So I think the whole concept of who is digital and who is not is over, right? Everyone is digital. The second point is that, initially it was really the early adopters who were buying stuff online or who were transacting online or buying insurance in our case. Now those early adopters have given way to the early majority or late majority, as the case may be. So now there is a lot more people who are there, and a lot of these people are not looking at it only as online or offline. They are looking at saying, I want to buy, let's say in our case, an insurance policy. So it is in our interest to make sure that we are available to them wherever they want us to be, whether it's online where we started or whether we need to be offline, which now we are allowed to do as per our license. So I think that in a nutshell, those are the two reasons that I'm sure are driving this change. One, the fact that everything is digital now. And number two, the fact that as we go beyond the early adopters, we need to be present wherever our customers want us to be present.
That's right. So omni-channel approach, and that is blurring the line between offline-online model. But Sahil Barua, come in on this. It's becoming a very lethal combination where you have the technological advantage, and now a lot of companies are suffering because of the COVID realities and are unable to survive beyond a point, and therefore there are many acquisition targets, and consolidation theme is really picking up fast, where you are backed by a lot of liquidity from the investor class.
Yeah, that's true. As Delhivery, one of the things that has been the cornerstone of how we've grown the business is really around technology and engineering. When you look at what's happened over the last 2 years, in fact, logistics companies, not just in India, but around the world, in response to COVID, have struggled to sort of re-engineer and sort of operate in the same way that they were operating pre-COVID, largely because of the absence of appropriate systems, appropriate technology to guide their operations. When I think about 2 years back, a year and a half back when COVID began, what allowed us to go back live within 7 days was really the fact that we were able to pinpoint where there were COVID hotspots around the country. We were able to manage our workforces in all of our large facilities. We were able to identify exactly what essential goods were versus not. And so sort of, technology has become critical for traditional offline heavy sort of brick and mortar companies to survive. I think that part is very clear. And from an acquisitive standpoint, look, from a delivery standpoint, we've never been very acquisitive as a company. But the way we think about it is we will look for opportunities to either partner with companies or to invest in companies where there are capabilities which we think are complementary to delivery, which expand the set of services that we offer to our customers, and that we can quickly sort of make more efficient or scale up through our systems and through our technology.
All right, but let me come to Pepperfry. So Amrish, You know, online, offline, and omni-channel model is something that you thought about way back. You have been present in both. How are you expanding this space to really gain much more market share and also opportunities that the present situation is providing?
So thanks for having me here too, Nisha. So our thesis when it comes to omnichannel has been actually fairly consistent for the last 5, 6 years. Our thesis is that it's the same consumer. She could be at a mall at one point in time. She could be walking on a high street at another point in time, on a laptop at a third point in time, or on a mobile phone at another point in time. So it's our duty as a business to interact with her, whichever way she wants to interact with us. And that thesis has driven our omni-channel forays way back from we opened our first store, a Pepperfresh studio in the end of 2000, in early 2015. And that thesis has essentially allowed us to expand our studio footprint significantly over the last few years. One of the things that's happened, especially I think post-COVID, is, and we all know that I think the pandemic has had a significant impact, not on larger businesses as much, but definitely on small and medium businesses. And I think that's where marketplaces like us come into the mix, where we not only through the last 1.5 years have worked very closely with all of our MSME manufacturers, but we've also launched programs. It's actually a program we recently launched about a month back, which allows for people to set up franchisee stores for Pepperfry across town classes in an investment of under 15 lakh rupees upfront. I mean, and that's a program that's getting significant traction because inherently, I think smaller businesses are learning the value of being associated with a bigger brand, especially during uncertain times, and especially when there are opportunities that consumer segments present themselves, which they haven't been able to make the use of till now. And that's something that's working out. It's working out quite well for small businesses because they are figuring out a method of sustainability, and it overall asserts the importance of having an omni-channel approach. And I think that's something that you will find a lot more of it happen through the course of the next few years as businesses learn to cooperate, and there's a degree of consolidation that happens across businesses, across town class in India.
Right, and lines that are blurring between the online and offline space is much more evident in especially the financial services space as well. So, Sarbvir, how does your license for insurance brokerage really change the game completely as you prepare for the IPO? Was that like one of the very big pitch points because you are now omnipresent through omni-channel approach?
So, Nisha, I would say that the IPO is obviously a big event and it's a defining event from a company perspective. But I think from a business model perspective, I don't think we are doing anything different than we had always planned to. And our license, as you correctly said, now allows us to do things offline, whereas earlier we were only allowed to be online. So it's an enabling proposition. But I must also explain that we have to be very careful because our online model has been carefully crafted to deliver a certain business outcome, right? In terms of how we acquire customers, how we service customers, how we sell policies to them. Now, offline, there are, especially in our industry, there are some serious challenges, which is why Policybazaar was set up. There are issues of transparency. There are issues of what kind of, promises that are made and, how we handle that. So for us, it is very important that the customer trust, the main asset of Policybazaar is the Policybazaar brand that has been built up over the last 13 years. So we have to ensure that we cannot sacrifice the trust the customers are placing in our brand for any short-term business results. So I think it's not really about the IPO. The